the end of the run. So, without further ado, take it away, sabledragonrook, and guest starring Mort!
Thank you. Appreciate that. So yeah, hi everybody. I am sabledragonrook. You can call me Sable. Mort is up in the top left hand of our screen here. Ignore the camera briefly flickering. Mort is a powerful time being. He does what he likes with my camera. So he will be joining us for this run. This is going to be a Last Guardian any percent, so we will play through, not quite to the credits, I suppose, but through to the intended end of the game. And I'm not going to hold us up. So timing will start as soon as I hit yes on this prompt. So I'll give you a countdown. We are going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. No cutscenes. Sorry, this is a speed run. Breaks my heart though. They're wonderful. But how are you all doing today? Hope you're doing well. Hi, Trico. So thanks to everybody being so kind and generous. Trico, you're being very loud. We have Rainbow Trico. Honk. Okay. So we met, we had a bid war, and Rainbow Trico was the paint job that won out for the day yesterday. Appropriate since our charity is supporting LGBTQIA plus individuals. So we got a pride flag, Trico. Kind of. I mean, the colors are maybe a little suspect, but he's cute, okay? That's what matters. All right. So we've met our friend in this cave. We don't know why we're here. And he's just kind of real angry. We need to convince him that we're not going to hurt him. We're not going to be mean to him like everybody else. Because as we will see throughout the game, people are very mean to him. Poor Trico. And the best way to his heart is food, of course. So we do have a $5 repeatable incentive to pet Trico as many times as you all want. I can pet him at any time up through about 15 minutes before the end, so...
Currently, no one wants to pet Trico.
Well, that would be very easy to fix, I hope.
Just $5.
Yeah, and there is a special pet interaction right here at the beginning of the game. We can only get it once. So if you're interested in that, better hurry. Alright, so Trico's gonna eat his little snacks. Apparently at his leisure. But he'll start feeling better. I suspect that Mort in the top left-hand corner, he's a lizard, by the way, for those who don't know exactly what you're looking at there. He's probably going to be mostly like that for the entire run. He's very sleepy. So hopefully we'll get plenty of time to hang out with all of our little friends here. Boy, you have one job. One singular job. Rest in peace, boy, for the third time in like 2 minutes. So we've pulled all these spears out of Trico. He had one in his leg, one in his shoulder. We took off a collar that was chaining him to the ground. And of course, we don't really get to see, like, much of this, right? Because we're not watching the cutscenes, and we're not even letting Trico stand up. This is a speedrun, after all. But he's got armor on, he's got, like, a helmet, he's got some body armor that he is going to shake off. And we have freed him from this prison that he was chained to. Hey, buddy. I promise his face is red. As per rainbow colors, he's just standing in the shadows. Alright, so while we run away, he's gonna be scratching that armor off of his head. He's gonna be shaking off the body armor. And he'll run over to me, again, kind of in his own time. That's very much what this game is all about. Despite the inconsistencies with Trico's AI, because every single run is going to be different, we can get the time fairly consistent across, you know, dozens of runs. Those are 3 very good ledge jumps. I would just like to point out, and the boy decided he wasn't going to do it, but whatever. No big deal. It's about 20 seconds difference. I could have just used basically a super jump to get up onto this ledge and not had to wait for Trico to be my platform. But over the scope of the entire run, really not a big deal. You kind of expect that you don't get it, and if you do, it's just nice. Farewell, Trico. So that was a checkpoint reset. There's no indication in this game... Wow, talk about a super jump. There's no indication in this game of when you're creating a checkpoint, when you've passed a checkpoint. You just kind of have to know. But once you do, sometimes you can teleport yourself, because where you spawn at the next checkpoint when you reload is further ahead than you just were. So it all comes down to how fast is the loading screen versus how long would it have taken you to get there without loading. And in that case, it was faster. We'll use that quite a lot to change where we are, make cycles more favorable, because they might load differently on a checkpoint reset than they do when you just walk in for the first time. And especially we're going to use it to move Trico. Trico is a tender soul. He likes to enjoy the environment, take a look around. Everything's beautiful. He wants to play with butterflies, you know. And we don't have time for that. So a lot of times we're going to checkpoint reset. That's going to teleport him forward. And we don't need to wait for him to walk behind us and follow us. We've got this mirror shield thing. He's not 100% sure if he's into it. It also makes him shoot lasers out of his butt, so that's pretty cool.
Can Mort do that too?
You know, I think Mort is kind of like middle evolution Pokemon. He hasn't quite gotten there yet. Give him some time, he'll evolve into the lightning shooting variety. So we did that checkpoint reset because Trico was still really upset at the mirror. Resetting kind of resets his AI and gets him focused on us. We were able to shoot the wall, and then as soon as I get up here, another checkpoint reset to make sure that we don't have to wait for Trico to walk this entire hallway. Because especially those jugs, he gets kind of confused. He doesn't really want to walk on them. Get over here, Trico. And now he's right behind me. Does that mean anything? Not necessarily. Come on, take a step forward. Just one step, dude. Yeah. He needs to be exactly one step forward in order for his tail to have room to shoot that door. Meanwhile, he's standing outside. There's a lake out there. And he, being, you know, some kind of feathery cat dog thing, doesn't like water. So we need to tempt him down into the water with some extra incentives.
You think, like, a $5 donation to Pet Trico would be a good incentive too.
I think that Trico would love to be pet. Personally, if I were Trico.
Who doesn't
Come
like
on.
a pet?
Yeah. And I could pet him in different places. He does different things. So checkpoint reset kind of spawned him over here. Sadly, his AI bugged out right when he when he spawned. So he didn't quite do the most optimal thing, which was just to jump up here without me. But that's fine. This entire speedrun is about adapting every second. You have to be adapting to whatever Trico decided to do this time. And that's what makes it fun. This is so sad, by the way. Like, if you made a friend with a giant fluffernutter like this guy, why would you just leave him? The boy's like, okay, sorry, I guess you're trapped in there, I'm leaving. Gotta try for the swag every time. You can grab his tail as he's running past, and it makes no difference whatsoever. But it's fun. Because you start in the same place, regardless of whether you grab his tail or not. So we see that little windmill up there. If you're interested in this game, but you don't want to spend 3.5 hours running any percent, just get to that windmill. All you have to do is get to where I'm standing, blow that windmill up with Trico's tail, and you're done. That category is called Windmill Percent, and it is currently 3-way tied for world record between me, Walter, and Aiden Umferson. It's a very fun little category.
What's the world record?
11 minutes and 4 seconds, I believe. And we're at like 11:38, so this was nice. Well, I guess it's 11:38 with some slight delay, but whatever. It's sub 12. So Trico was looking at that big white tower in the middle of this chasm. We're kind of in a weird, I don't know, like cup-shaped valley with really tall sides on all sides, and there's no way for us to get out. The boy doesn't know how he got here, but Trico seems like super into that tower. And so he's like, yeah, okay, sure. Trico wants to go there, I guess. Let's just do that. And that's going to be our goal for the rest of the game. We're going to try to get to that white tower, get to the top of it, and then maybe from the top we can like jump out or, you know, do something to get out of this situation that we're in. But that's going to be our goal. The main character's body seems to move like rubber, and I can promise you that it controls like rubber. This game's controls are something that you should practice. They're very realistic in the sense that, like, he'll fall down and he'll trip, and if he tries to get up, sometimes he fails and, like, falls down again because he slips. And so it's, like, super realistic to watch, but speedrunning wise, Hey, buddy, you did such a good job. Trico paced himself so perfectly there. We couldn't have asked for better. If he had stayed a little bit further behind, we would have had to wait for him to come and join us. If he had stayed a little bit closer to me, he would have been too far, and he would have had to, like, spin around on that pillar, spin around again, and then jump up to me. So he did just perfect. Hi, buddy. Come over here. He's got a little necklace, by the way. I can take that off, and sometimes I do take it off if he's being bad. But he gets to keep it for as long as he's good. You get to wear it for free as long as you beat the game at least once. It's called the Badge of Honor. So once again, Trico is going to have kind of a hard time figuring out what I'm doing. And it's going to be a lot faster to just get to the checkpoint and spawn him behind me than it is to wait for him to figure out, like, what on earth he needs to do. And the checkpoint is right at the top of those stairs. You just kinda gotta know. But the nice thing about this game, if you're interested in running this game in any capacity, just for fun, whatever, our community is really super nice. All of the Team Eco games are in one server. So Eco, Shadow the Colossus, Last Guardian, we all kind of work together. Last Guardian is perhaps the least popular, just because, you know, it's compared with like Shadow, which is like this high stakes, super jump trick, cool. It's really cool. Like the people who run that game and are really good at it are just amazing to watch. But we've still got like a friendly little Last Guardian chunk. So we're happy to help. I've tried to make as many categories as possible of varying lengths so that not everybody has to spend 3 hours on an any percent if they don't have the time. And if you're worried about, you know, what seems like a million checkpoint resets and, oh, how do you tell? Just don't worry about it. They are very much not mandatory. You'll just lose a little bit of time, and that's not the worst thing. Trico trolled us a little bit. He turned around. He has a little scripted event out here where he wants to like run around in the sun because it's the first time he's really been outside in a big place. And we interrupted him from doing that, but he still kind of wanted to turn around and take a look, so. Slower than ideal, but certainly not a big deal. I can't tell Trico what to do, at least right now, but I can encourage him to do things. I can call him, or, as in this case, I can climb his head in a very specific way. Because where I am on his head impacts where he looks. Because he kind of wants to look at me, and I'm like making one side of his head heavier. So by climbing in a specific way, I can encourage him to look forward, which helps his AI to trigger the next thing that he needs to do.
You know what would be a great way to encourage Trico? $5 to give him a pet.
There is an outstanding hypothesis that the more you pet Trico and the nicer you are to him, the better a boy he is. I'm not even making that up to get donations. I'm genuinely saying he might be nicer if we pet him. He did a great job here. There was another cutscene trigger out there, it takes about 45 seconds, and he successfully just followed me and walked right around the edge of it. Thank you, Trico. Whoa, my guy, can you not noodle around so much? So if Trico had triggered that cutscene, we would have seen that he was looking kind of across a hallway at what looks like a big bird cage, and that was making him really, really upset. In a second, we will see that bird cage. But we just kind of skipped that little bit of context. That gate takes forever. buddy. So here it is. This is what he would have been looking at. This cage is kind of pulsing with blue energy. We'll reset to pop him up here, but once I get down here, I can't get back out. So I need Trico to come after me, and he really, really doesn't want to. Also, take note of those blue doors. We'll start seeing them starting now, and they'll be here throughout the run. I will explain them momentarily. Come on, buddy. I need your help. So we're standing very specifically right here because I'm right in front of Trico's nose. I'm lined up with the middle of his face. Maybe if we had given him a pet, he wouldn't have just eaten me whole. That's all I'm saying.
It's only $5, people.
So we got munched. Swallowed whole by our best friend. It's okay though. Somehow we're fine. If you were, I don't know, paying an immense amount of attention, you would notice that we have slightly more tattoos now than we did before. Nobody ever notices. Which is fair, because there's like 2 extra. But we do have a little bit more tattooage going on here. Trico's not feeling so good. Maybe don't eat people and you won't feel bad.
We do have our very first pet Trico.
Oh boy.
By Gooby, aka Trico Fan 2000. Pet that boy.
Thank you, Gooby. I would be so happy to pet Trico. In fact, this is a perfect time to pet Trico because it will actually change what we do in the run. And I will explain that in just a moment. But for now, we're encountering, we just call them armors. In the original Japanese, they are still just called yoroi, which is the Japanese word for armor. And these are the bad guys. These are our enemies throughout the game. Sometimes they look a little bit different. The number of horns that they have impacts like how difficult they are to defeat. But the boy doesn't have any weapons. He doesn't really have any capability to destroy these by himself. So he needs to rely fully on Trico. Meanwhile, these armors want to take the boy, catch him, pick him up, and take him through that blue door that I called out a couple minutes ago. Anytime we go through a blue door, we're gonna die. And that's bad because this is a speed run. We don't want to die. So I'm gonna be, you know, kicking and screaming to get out of any armors that happen to catch me. And ideally, we don't really get caught. Sometimes I will get caught on purpose in order to encourage Trico to like refocus what he's doing. Because Trico will always prioritize saving me over whatever else he's doing. So sometimes we can use it strategically, but for the most part, we don't really want to get caught. I'm gonna wake these guys up by stepping into their light. And then Trico, help! I am but a wee lad. So normally what we're aiming for in a speedrun is for Trico to just obliterate these guys. We want him to come forward here instead of backwards, but of course it's backwards. It's a little bit faster for him to come forward. And then this, whoop. Well, there was a helmet. I don't know where it went. Oh, he knocked it off the ledge. Nice, buddy. So there's only one helmet. This would be very nice, but we're not going to do it. This would be called Helmet Skip because he hates these helmets. And I need him to be inside the next room. Whoa, Trico. Don't do this to me, buddy. So in a speed run, normally we would pick up that helmet while he's still fighting the other armors, take it into the room, and then he'll come charging into that room after it, and we can use his body to kind of get to a place we're not supposed to go. But we've got a pet, which means, hey, Trico, I'm gonna calm my Trico down the way that the game intended by petting him. Hey, buddy. The first time, it's really difficult to calm him down. He's really, really upset. But, hi! Yeah. We give him some good pets, his feathers stop being all ruffled, and he calms down.
Same.
Yeah, you just need some scratches sometimes. Having a bad day, somebody rubs you between the shoulders and you're like, yeah, everything's okay. Thank you for the pet. Gooby, we got to do something that we don't ever get to see in any percent. And it feels a lot better to pet him than it does to just abandon him all upset. So technically, anytime he's upset, we're supposed to pet him like that, but obviously, as you can see, it takes time to do that. So in the vast majority of cases, we're either going to reset, or we're just going to, like, keep calling him, and eventually he kind of snaps out of it. It was only this very first time when petting was mandatory, and we would have had to, like, brute force our way past it. But Trico did a good job, all things considered. Even though he jumped backwards, that fight was still quite good. Hey, buddy. Trico, you look like one of those rainbow popsicles. So up he comes. Mort basically hasn't moved since the start. Mood. I feel ya. So Trico is always, hopefully, gonna do the same thing. This is a scripted event. His AI has certain targets that he needs to hit. He's gonna run down there like he did. Hopefully he's gonna go all the way around that structure and come toward me, which he is doing. Good job. And then he's gonna run. And he's gonna turn around and come around this pillar, look up at the sky and scream. And that, even though his AI is programmed to do that, he will do it differently every time. And that's true of all of the scripted things that happen in this game. Anytime that he's doing something scripted, he can definitely mess it up. And sometimes it could kind of glitch him out. Sometimes I'll die because he, like, didn't do something he was supposed to do. Sometimes the boy does his part of the scripted thing, but Trico doesn't, and then the game just, like, breaks and crashes. It's very fun. But he actually did, like, a really excellent job. That was about as fast as that could go. Creeks, you ruined my jump, dude. That's okay, I don't like vine skip anyway. We were going for a skip there, which debatably saves time. I'm not really sure about that. It does if you do it correctly the first time. So Trico's super into this jug because it smells like food, and he will not do anything until I close the lid to make him stop smelling it. I was trying previously to just jump straight onto this roof so I didn't have to do all of the moving the jug and everything. But if you don't move it, the game doesn't think that it should be closable, which means that a lot of times you just like charge into it like that and nothing happens. But then you fall to the floor and have to do it like normal anyway. So usually I don't like doing it because it mostly doesn't work. But if it does, you save like 30 seconds or something. Alright, Trico's heading up into, almost immediately, another scripted event. So again, he's going to walk off, he's going to do his own thing. And hopefully he does it with some measure of consistency. Now, perhaps of note, to some viewers, you can see Trico is kind of all covered in blood. He's had a rough day. If I pet him on those bloody spots, they will go away. So, if you are upset at the current state of our Trico, $5 is all you need to get rid of these bloody spots. Or make him go to sleep, or make him yawn.
Unfortunately, no one wants to pet Trico.
Well, we've got time. And you can also see his horns are broken, and they're just starting to grow back. The more barrels we feed him, the more his horns will keep growing. You can also tell that I painted him at this point in the game, basically. I actually painted him right here because the very tip of his tail is starting to grow back. He was missing it at the start of the game. And you can tell because throughout the game from here on out, it's going to keep growing and it's not painted. So you can tell like where in the game somebody stopped to paint their Trico. Come on, camera. Kick up here, please. There we go. We got another friend up there. Trico's not super into it, but... Okay, we see his butt come up into the air. And that's exactly what we need to see to let him, or to let us know that he's ready. Here's the boy. Hi. You're supposed to wait for Trico to jump up onto this pillar and then grab his tail and climb up him that way. But some good timing, we meet him up here on his head and save a lot of time. Now, these eyeballs, I haven't really said anything about. That one happens to be broken, but there's a lot of these glass eyes throughout the game. Trico hates them. Really, really doesn't like them. And anytime he sees them, he's gonna stop whatever he's doing and just refuse to participate in anything that we're doing until I get rid of it. So I can break it, I can, you know, shove it off a cliff, hide it, whatever. As long as I get it so that Trico can't see it anymore, it's fine.
Out of sight, out of mind.
That's right. We presume that it was because whoever used to live in this abandoned civilization, like, tormented the Tricos, using those eyes to try to train them about where they weren't supposed to go, or get them to do things or not do things. And so now they have all these negative associations with those eyeballs. And Trico was very good there. We're supposed to be down there helping him with this fight, but instead, he let me get onto his back before he started fighting, before he started really hopping around. And we're just gonna leave this fight to him. For the good luck. appreciate it. Mort needs it more than I do. He is a sleepy boy. So the fight back there is one of the only fights in the game where the game will actually let you proceed without killing all of the armors. So regardless of whether Trico is done with that fight or not, he's going to be ready to move on as soon as I hit this checkpoint. We're going to run over this wooden like thingy. It's a pressure plate that closes the door behind us. So what we don't get to see, because we're skipping all this stuff, is Trico walk through there, step on the pressure plate, and then have it slam down on his tail. And that's going to get him stuck. So I need to go and find the lever that opens that gate so that we can unsticky his tail. Nice RNG on those armors. They got out of my way. You can manipulate them a little bit, but it's like 50% skill, 50% chance how they come out of the wall. Buddy, I gotcha. His tail's free. We'll see if he actually realizes that. Sometimes his AI kind of bugs out. Oh, Trico, honey. Honey, what are you doing? Oh, no. Oh, Trico is so bugged right now. We need him to finish all of these armors before he turns into that hallway. And he really wants to go down that hallway. Trico, no. Oh, boy. Let's see what his AI does with this.
If you donate $5, a pet to Trico might reset his AI.
He actually did a good job. Is this fight over? Oh, Trico, the fight isn't over? Wow, I'm so surprised, buddy. You left somebody behind? That wasn't supposed to happen, was it? Get down here. So this is why we needed everybody in the previous hallway to be dead. Because now he's like really confused. He's gonna keep like real slowly walking. This was like the best recovery we could have hoped for. Because his scripted thing where he like runs down the hallway and obliterates this guy at the end still happened. Usually that wouldn't happen. He would just very agonizingly slowly walk down the hallway and then turn around and very agonizingly slowly walk back. So not the worst, even though he kind of wigged out for a second. Now this is a little bit cheating, I'll have you know. You all get a free pet here. Because we are going to be stuck in this room. Trico's going to come through the door, which closes behind him, and now we can't get out. And what we're supposed to do is stay in here and just kind of wander around and realize that we can't get out until the narrator is like, hey, actually, I've spent enough time with Trico that I think that he might just listen to what I say. And that takes a long time for all of that to happen. Instead, I'm going to give Trico a pet on the head, which makes him sit down. And then I just jump up to these stairs. Because the action of sitting down makes him lift his head up just high enough that we can get onto the staircase and skip that entire puzzle. Called Command Skip, because this is where we get commands for Trico. That was exceptionally good, because usually you have to pet Trico 3 times in order to get him to actually lift his head like that. And he did it on the first try.
But Trico wouldn't be opposed to getting 3 pets for $15.
He's showing just how much he was excited about the pets, because he did it on the very first try. Hey, buddy. I'll take this out. So now, we can give Trico commands. That doesn't mean that he'll listen, but we can at least suggest what we would like for him to do. And my commands are basically limited to point in a direction, but as a speedrunner it should never be any direction other than forward. or else that will confuse him. So point in a direction, jump. That's about it. Technically, there's commands for like interact with and for stop it. And I guess for like attack. But we basically never use those. They're very niche cases. I am not climbing all the way down here when I can just break my leg and then reset. As you might expect, if those things look at us, they'll wake up. And I need Trico in here in order to help me fight them, so... you just gotta outpace their spinning. Just enough for Trico to get in the room. So I clustered those two guys together by how I was running to make it simpler for Trico to kill both of them at the same time. Sometimes that works out really well, like there, and sometimes they just don't care. And it takes 2 or 3 swipes for Trico to get him. So the way we control Trico, the way we get him to listen to us in a speedrun is like 70% of the difference between like, you know, the world record and a top 10 time, right? Like times can vary greatly in this game by like 30 plus minutes based on how well you can control Trico. And there are a lot of rules that dictate whether he listens to you. Part of it is, you know, the universe. Is there a solar eclipse today? Are the planets, like, slightly out of alignment? Well, too bad. But part of it, is he looking at you? Is he occupied with something else? Are you giving too many commands? Is your command clear? What direction are you facing? So there's a lot that goes into getting Trico to listen on the first try. And basically none of it is, like, visible, right? So runners can be doing so many things at any given time to manipulate Trico's AI, and you kind of can't tell. This run is pleasingly complex for a runner. I dislike this every single time. This is so stressful. Okay. Same deal as the previous room, just a lot more guys. Again, I'm kind of clustering them up. Trico did an absolutely abysmal job there. But we love him anyway. We don't want to see him knock enemies down without destroying them. Because the death plane in this room is really far down, like much further than you would expect. So when those armors fall without being dead, sometimes they can fall for 20, 30 seconds. And the fight can look like it's over, but it's not. And that means sometimes you reset, only to find that you need to do that entire thing again because the fight wasn't actually over. Alright, I'm gonna do something swaggy. And if I die, just don't worry about it. We typically only do this in segmented, you know, like task runs because it's so risky. But, oof, that was a good try. Oh well. I just wanted to try it once. We're just back here, it's not that far. It loses about 30 seconds if you fail, and it only saves 8 seconds if you succeed. But it's very cool. I was just trying to skip the ladder and jump straight down onto that platform. It had to be done. I pay my bills in swag points. But alright, well, we'll do it the intended way. See, it's not like that much longer to just go down the ladder. But... of course, Trico isn't going to proceed if he sees this eyeball. Gotta get rid of it. Okay, on we go. Trico's gonna do... it's not scripted, but Trico's very good at this section, so I'm just gonna leave it to him. And he's gonna figure everything else out while he does a bunch of jumps. So, in the meantime, if we could hear a little bit about, like, the charity that we're supporting and where all these donations are going, that would be great.
Absolutely. Midwest Speedfest Fall Frenzy is raising money for One Iowa, a charity organization that advances, empowers, and improves the lives of LGBTQ Iowans statewide. It is extremely important now and always to support LGBTQ individuals, especially in underrepresented and overlooked areas such as Iowa. You could donate directly to One Iowa by typing !donate in the chat, or by going to donate.midwestspeedfest.com. Additionally, One Iowa is a 501c3 organization, meaning your donation is tax deductible if you live in the United States, and furthermore, means your employer may match your donation.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And right on cue, we have reached the top of this section. And on we go. No, computer. Do not restart right now. Can you not see I am in the middle of something? It's been 5 years, I think, that I have been doing Last Guardian for marathons. And there's only been one time that my computer has restarted in the middle of a run. Let's not make it two.
Windows really needs an update.
And it's one of those updates where it's like, we need to update to install whatever thing for a program you don't use. And then you're like, okay, fine. And you restart. And then immediately when it turns back on, it's like, we need to restart to install this update. You just did! What are you talking about? Alright, got a little fall damage cancel there.
We do have a $25 donation.
Oh, heck.
From Octini.
Aw,
Hey,
thanks,
look! It's the game and the marathon that introduced me to Sable 3.5 years ago. Thanks for helping me make such a wonderful friend, Midwest Speedfest. And go, Trico, go!
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Octini. So that's 5 pets.
5 pets for our goodest boy. Well, I've got some plans for those pets. I don't think Trico is even going to be ready for this. But first of all, before that... donk. I'm gonna hit him in the head. So he's super into this jug because once again, it smells like food. And he's gonna not leave it alone. Trico just loves this Baja Blast.
I do too.
Yeah, well, so does my husband. He's a Baja Blast boy. Just had a big Taco Bell meal yesterday with as much Baja Blast as he could drink.
Mort's moving!
Morty! Oh, he's leaving. Morty, come back! He's like, I've had enough of this. So Trico's super into that jug, that's good news for us this time. We hooked it up to the chain that operates this door, and he's gonna yank on it for us and give me an opportunity to shove this under the door and get him through. Baja Blast has Sprite in it? Really? I would not have guessed.
Weird. Because it's like, it's Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Are Mountain Dew and Sprite owned by the same company? Or is
Yeah,
Baja Blast like a sneaky, you know? Like we're gonna use Sprite, but we're not gonna pay you for Sprite kind of deal.
yeah, because I thought, yeah, Sprite, I think, is Coke.
Who knows?
Well, if you saw it on TikTok, it must be true.
That's right. Oh, Mountain Dew is owned by Pepsi, but Sprite is owned by Coke. So not they're competitors. They're the deepest, darkest enemies.
And that's why Baja Blast is awesome, because the flavors are competing.
Rico, you're kind of being a real cabbage right now, my friend. He's really like wanting to sniff this, I don't know, axle thing that I'm pushing against the door. And he keeps getting distracted from what I'm asking him to do because he's like, but I want to smell it.
Ort or Trico?
Oh, it's just if you want to make it at home. I buy it. Throw in some Powerade, some Sprite, you got yourself some Baja Blast. That's kind of like, okay, don't judge me, okay? But back when Skittles, the green one, was still lime and not green apple. Although I think they've since fixed that because everybody complained. Everybody disliked that. When I was a kid, I used to combine yellow and green Skittles, like only exclusively eat those two together because together they taste like Pine Sol, which is that floor cleaner that smells really good. And it's the only safe way to eat Pine Sol. To be fair, that was what my mom preferred to me actually like drinking Pine Sol. Don't do that, kids, please. I was into some weird flavor combinations. I also got in trouble in another marathon for saying that I like cold hot dogs. But I mean, come on, you take the hot dogs with the cheese in the middle and you just like eat them. And that's it. You don't heat them up, you don't put them in a bun, you just eat them. Yeah, that recipe is literally, Mom, I want Baja Blast. We have Baja Blast at home. The Baja Blast at home is some cursed concoction. Exactly! Hot dogs are already cooked. Somebody else informed me the other day that I don't think it was you, Ryan, but somebody did, that KFC owns Taco Bell, or like the same people who own KFC also own Taco Bell, and that's why the Taco Bell chicken is so good. Even though it's like the complete opposite of anything that Taco Bell would usually make. Here you go. Don't leave me, dude. I promise I haven't forgotten about the pets. We're just kind of in a little bit of a fraught section here. So this is a scripted event happening in-game, real game calculations, which means that occasionally Trico's aim isn't very good. And he can and has just dropped me.
No.
Rest in peace, little boy. Your trust was misplaced. So we gotta get rid of this eyeball. Just whoopsie. You saw nothing? That was not a runner mistake. That was a boy for sure. Just like the other cart that we just engaged with, we gotta push this off so that Trico doesn't get scared because it's got an eye on it. And just like the other one, it's got this little like cable wheel that's gonna get stuck and destroy the platform. So I'm gonna need Trico to save me before it collapses. Aw, I always try to kick this barrel like a soccer ball and it doesn't want to be kicked today. There we go. That would be like the trolliest thing to do. One day I just like talk to a marathon and say that I'm doing any percent and then I just do bad ending and just leave. It's also fairly easy for Trico to miss you there in the sense that he doesn't lower his tail fast enough. So bad ending, if you're looking for a longer category, about an hour, but you, again, don't want to do the entire any percent, and windmill is too short for you, you can just let Trico fall here, because eventually, if you don't save him, this will break, and he will fall. And you are a horrible person, but I understand not everybody has 3 hours for an any percent. So instead, we're gonna save him. I was the one who made that category, don't judge me. It was accessibility, okay? Actually, just kidding. Normally we would run away during that cutscene. I'm gonna give Trico a pet. Because we have some outstanding pets, don't we, buddy? Yes. Alright, we got this blood spot right on his neck. Let's get rid of it. And he closes his eyes, turns his head sideways. He's loving it.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got his eyes closed. Alright. We'll get rid of this blood spot too. There you go. Cleaning up our boy.
The goodest boy.
Don't worry, there's plenty more where those came from when it comes to the blood spots. Oh no. So it used to be that we would reset here, because that guy in the background there had a spear and switches to a sword, which is harder for you to deal with as the boy because he comes after you a little bit faster. But then we discovered a slightly faster way to climb ledges that gives us the extra like half second we need to get up there without him bothering us, so we don't reset anymore. If we had let him keep his spear, he would have gone after Trico instead of us, which is why he would not have been in the way, and that was not a problem. Alright, get rid of that eyeball. Trico's gonna come in here and help us. While I multitask at like 5 frames a second. Hey, buddy.
Yep.
Hey. You chill? Yeah. Cool. So there's a gigantic eyeball over here. The center of our next kind of major puzzle. Trico's gonna get really upset, and there is a risk that he just kind of gets perma-locked right where he's standing. Can we not do that, Trico? So he walks up to it, right? He gets angry, and he's like, oh, I don't like this. And then he backs away. And I need him, come on. I need him to calm down, and I need him to just go directly left. Do not step forward. Just turn left. He's having a hard time with it. Just go left. No step forward. Just pivot left. Yes. Because if he steps forward, he's going to step too close to that eyeball again, and he's going to get angry. And he just keeps doing that kind of in an infinite cycle. If you've played Eco, these cages should look familiar. I can honestly say I don't think I have ever consumed Fabuloso in my life. Is that like widely available in stores? Or is that like a regional... Is it like the regional Fanta or something? Fanta maybe isn't the one that I'm thinking of. What am I thinking of? That has all the flavors.
Shasta, maybe?
Maybe. Is it... Maybe it's Sonic is the place that I've heard of where you're supposed to like mix all of the drinks. I've also never been to a Sonic, so I'm just kind of... Maybe I'm making that up. But there's some restaurant where you're supposed to just take a little bit of everything and create some unholy concoction. So I'm supposed to walk through this gap and get like out to the back of this eyeball, do some more platforming, and then come through this gap and walk across the front. We're not going to do that. Puzzle's done. We skipped it. By standing in a place that I wasn't supposed to stand and making a really precise jump. Whether or not that works, like, unironically, I'm not even joking, just comes down to, like, how the wind is blowing. And how the game interprets the eyeball, like, being moved by the wind. Because sometimes it can be shifting in such a way that, like, there's no way to complete that jump because the eye isn't moving, like, favorably. And you have to do it as intended. So sometimes you can just get kind of unlucky. So we're quite high now. Remember that we're trying to get to this white tower, which is right there. And we've gone quite high and gotten a lot closer to it as well. I could jump and meet Trico as he's coming across. And I could go down a little bit further so that that drop isn't as far. But it's very easy to die doing that. And to me, the extra 2 seconds that you spend in slow-mo from the extra fall distance isn't worth trying to save that time and then dying. You got this, Treeks. You know where to go. Here you go. This Coliseum looking thing over here, we were standing down there earlier. That's where Trico took a bath. And then we looked up and saw the other Trico looking back down at us. So we've gone a lot higher. As per Trico, he breaks everything. Oh, okay. I died during the cutscene.
Oh no!
Like I said, these are scripted events, not actual cutscenes, so sometimes stuff like that can happen.
Do you think it's because we haven't pet Trico enough?
It could be. You know, he could just be like, "You haven't pet me in so long? Get off. I'm doing the rest of this journey on my own."
Just $5 for a pet, everyone.
We've still got a couple from Ryan, but we're gonna have a lot of blood spots to clean off, so. Alright, I'll play this a little bit more chill. Because the reason that I fell off was because I was moving during the cutscene. Or the scripted event. I was trying to be back here, basically, so that I could make that jump immediately. And that's the risk you take. If you get too close to some of the seams in Trico's feathers, you temporarily lose your grip. And that can make you fall. There's going to be a little cutscene up here because Trico's standing on a pillar, you can see over there, and he has nowhere to go. But instead of watching the cutscene, I'm going to shimmy past it because the trigger is up there. And as long as we don't walk on it, it won't play. But basically all we do is we say, "Hey Trico, I see that you're in trouble. Give me just a minute and I'll help you." And Trico says, "Oh, Baru, Baru." And we say, "Yeah, I get it. It's tough, buddy." Can you not, though? Could I consider telling you that could you not? Boy, you're a slippery little noodle. So that guy was trying to take me down to one of those blue doors that I talked about before. Ideally, we don't get caught there. Not a super big deal if we do. Whether he catches me or he starts to cast this, like, Naruto ninjutsu nonsense, either way, it's going to put these sigils on my screen. And if I let enough of them collect, my, like, inputs don't work anymore. Which is why you have to button mash to get rid of them, because if you're just trying to hit buttons, your inputs aren't going through. And that's how they get you. That's how they drag you to the door. Kicking and screaming. I'm working my way up to a drawbridge. I'm trying to be swaggy again. Yeah. Get wrecked, bro. We're working our way up to a drawbridge that's across the way here. Wow, that was a super jump. Very nice. So what we're supposed to do is kind of go across this scaffolding. This piece is going to break. And then I grab onto that platform over there, and there's a little cutscene that plays where the boy is like, "Oh no, Trico, I'm falling, help me!" And Trico jumps across even though the drawbridge isn't down in order to save you. But I'm going to skip that. Hopefully that's not going to work though, so we're going to go back to the checkpoint. This skip saves like a ton of time. Because we need to land kind of right on the edge of that drawbridge in a place that we're not supposed to stand in order to skip that cutscene. And because we skip the cutscene by skipping the trigger and not needing Trico's help to get back onto solid ground, we're going to go over and pull that lever and the game is going to be like, "What? Whoa, what? Trico's not here. What are you doing over here?" There we go. And it will actually spawn Trico on the drawbridge without doing any of the stuff he was supposed to do. Because we're not supposed to be here. So he's just kind of here now. That's called drawbridge skip. Because I named a lot of the things in this run and I'm not very creative, it turns out. But it's one of my favorite skips in the game. I'll clean Trico up with our remaining pets here in just a minute. For now, he's going to be behind us, and he's going to say, "You know what? This has been kind of a nightmare, like this whole adventure. I keep getting spears stuck in me. I don't like this. So I'm not gonna move until you give me a treat because I deserve it. And that's why we're
Fair.
going to get this barrel. So we're supposed to throw that barrel like back and forth from all these platforms and like rush over real quick before it rolls off. Or I just walk out because we can do that. Called barrel skip. There are 3 of them in the run. All function on the same principle, which is like there's a little tiny seam that you can hook your toe into to trick the boy into thinking it's something he can step on, and then he can just step out of the puzzle. Hey, buddy. You hungry, huh? Okay, Trico's gonna eat his snacko. I'm gonna go because I'm sure he has spears in him from that terrifying instance. And where's your spears? Trico, you troll. I was gonna pet you. And instead he was like, nah, I'm fine. So fine, we'll pet him in a minute. I've never in my life seen him come out of that with no spears. There's like 30 guys chucking spears into him. But yeah, for those who are just recently joining, the incentive for this run is a $5 repeatable pet Trico. I could pet him and make him yawn, make him fall asleep, do cute things. And we've still got a couple outstanding, but that doesn't mean that we don't still have more than 2 hours of run, so by all means. We'll clean up his little bloody spots with pets. Right, Treeks? Did you understand me on the first try? Dude, good job.
He deserves a pet.
I think I see a big
Only
bloody spot.
$5.
Yeah. There we go, buddy. What happened to your shoulder? We gotta clean this up with our delicious little pets here. Yeah. So the blood goes away. Trico, you're making this very difficult. But the blood does go away as we pet him. Come on, Drakes. I need a big strong guy, please. His horns are growing back a little bit because we're giving him some barrels. You can see there's an eyeball up there to the left. We're gonna have to deal with that in just a minute. But in the meantime, come here, Treeks. Come on. Hurry. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Go, 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 go. Yeah, I know. I know. So upset. I get it. You keep going. You keep going. Make the jump, Trico. Nah. Alright. If Trico's AI is like super cooperative, you can get him to make this jump before the cutscene plays. It's really rare for that to happen. I think I've had it happen twice in the last 3 years. But it can happen. Thought maybe today would be the day. So he's really upset. There's eyeballs. There's like multiple eyeballs. There's that big spooky other Trico roaring in the distance. He's just upset. Which means I'm not going to pet him right now because he's not going to really be happy about it. Supposed to climb down his tail, but ain't nobody got time for that. There's the White Tower over there. That's where we're trying to go. And there's those cages that we were on about 15 minutes ago. You might notice that these vines are super similar to the ones in Shadow of the Colossus. I think they used like the same base information to create these that they did to create those, because it's the same people who made both games. And you'll see like lizards and stuff too on the floor that are kind of a callback to Shadow. So Trico's going back and forth between the drawbridge over here, the pillar, and the pillar that we jumped from him. Because he's upset about the eye. And he like really wants to come and help us, but he wants to stay away from the eye and he keeps, you know, changing his mind. But the cycling of this is important. We need to be careful of our timing here. We're using fast rope climbing, which is not how you're intended to be able to go up these, but because we need to make sure that Trico is cycled appropriately so that by the time we get back to him, he'll be on the pillar that's closest to us. Otherwise, I'm going to be in trouble. And I'm going to need to do it, gasp, the intended way. Nobody wants that. Alright, Trico's just coming back. We're looking good. I can trick the game into letting me run on things where I would normally have to very slowly walk. If I come onto them running, and then don't let the run animation reach its end. Which I do by continually tapping down and restarting the run animation. So we can run across this rope instead of like holding our arms out and being really slow. Which is the only way that we make it across with enough time, please don't, to be here when Trico's jumping across. And we need to do that because I need to grab Trico. That entire thing that we were just on was breaking and like tipping. And it's kind of a pain to get off of it once it's tipped. But this way, we're off of it and onto our next goal like 40 seconds faster. That trick was called the Panda Plummet because it was discovered by a runner named Sancho Panda.
Sancho plays
Sancho's
ukulele.
great. Yeah. He plays ukulele. He is... Surely he holds more than one world record in Eco. That's his main game. So he's another Team Eco runner. But yeah, uke player, all around nice guy. The Team Eco community is like so cool. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I think we're pretty cool. So I am heading up. The eyeball that I called out a while ago is like directly behind us right now. It's hard to see until we get essentially to like right here. But Trico's gonna refuse to move. I need to get rid of this thing. Here we go. Another scripted event, so remember, things can always go wrong. That's the fun of it. Hey, Drakes, I need your help, buddy. Come on. Are you ready? Do you promise you're ready? Because I don't believe you. Good job, buddy. That's probably the easiest one to miss. It's pretty rare that I see casual players not die there at least once. Okay. We trigger a checkpoint as soon as my feet touch that, and then Trico is really, really good at climbing this next section. So while he does that, I'm gonna be using the pets that we have left to clean him up. And if we could hear if there are like any incentives coming up later today or other cool stuff like that to look forward to, that'd be cool.
Sure. We, of course, have the Pet Trico incentive going until the end of the run. That's just $5 for each and every pet. We have a ending bid war for Illbleed coming up later. And with that bid war, you choose between the bad ending or the good ending. Finally, we have a bonus incentive to unlock Garbage Pail Kids, Mad Mike, and the quest for the stale gum. If met, Conception will perform an any percent tourist run of the game. And that incentive requires $500 to unlock.
Yeah, Conception, if you've never seen a Conception run, number one, what are you doing? But number two, Conception is just such a vibe. So it would be great to see that bonus run get met because that's just such a... I don't even know how to describe that game, if I'm being completely honest, and it's super worth it.
You can affect the marathon through your donations via our incentives. To add your donation to an incentive, scroll to the bottom of the donation page and click Add Incentives. Then pick an incentive on the left and mark your choice if it's a bid war and select Add. For a list of incentives, type !incentives in chat. You're watching Midwest Speedfest Fall Frenzy, a 4-day charity speedrun marathon supporting One Iowa.
Here we go. We've made it to the top. Bad things are happening.
No!
So we made all this progress, climbing like higher to get on the White Tower, and then this other Trico just shows up and slaps us in the face. What a meanie. So we fell actually quite far. The room that we're in now is the one that we were in earlier, where I like hooked the jug of food onto the chain to get Trico to lift the door so that I could put the axle underneath. That was quite a while ago, so she really knocked us down. But the good news is, with the ceiling broken and everything, it's gonna be a lot easier to get back up to where we were. Trico, your tail's stuck, buddy. What happened to your polygons? There you go. We had a brief moment of Mort moving up in the corner. So I guess while Trico was figuring out how to save me from this tree, science time with Sable, everybody's favorite mid-speed run segment. Mort is currently brumating. It's the lizard version of hibernation, which is why he's so sleepy. He's sleeping all the time and he's not eating. So he hasn't been eating for a couple weeks, and he probably won't eat again until like March. He's just gonna be sleeping. and staring grumpily out of that cave, wondering why I have the lights on. The true question, I suppose, is whether you would hibernate. Like, would you hibernate and get really good sleep if it meant that you didn't get to, like, do things for 6 months? Trico! Hey! Trico! You troll! Don't leave without me! What are you doing? Where do you think you're going? How's that working for you down there? What a goob. That was not what he was supposed to do. He just kind of got confused. Come on, Treeks. You can do this. I believe in you. There we go. Now there's a trick here called Vine Skip. Vine Skip number 2, because, as I said, I'm not very good at naming things. And I am super notorious in the community for dying to it. So we're not going to do it. We're going to do a modified version of Vine Skip that saves less time, but still a lot of time. And is much less dangerous. What you're supposed to do is run underneath Trico's butt here. And then I'll show you in just a second. Once we get up onto his back, you can see down in this little corner, right by Trico's shoulder, all the way near the floor are some vines on a wall. And we want to jump to those so that we don't have to wait for Trico to do all of the million things that he's trying to do here. But I'm just gonna wait for Trico to take one jump to bring me a little bit closer. Because otherwise, how far you need to fall in order to consider, for the game to consider you to be dead, and how far those vines are basically exactly the same. So sometimes the game gives you credit for dying, and sometimes it gives you credit for grabbing the vines. Sometimes it gives you credit for grabbing the vines, and then fades you to black anyway. So we're just gonna not do that, and do the modified version. So modified vine skip, we've already done barrel skip, which was also in this room. Same principle as before. Instead of throwing the barrel from platform to platform and like hustling over real quick to make sure it doesn't roll off. Excuse me. Okay. Boy. We just hooked our foot on a tiny little seam to force the boy out of the puzzle. Wow, Treeks, that is super far away. He doth protest, that's why he's sitting here. Once again, he's like, I've done too much work for too little reward. You feel better? To be fair, he just crashed through a ceiling, so I think he deserves a little bit of a reward. But we are currently out of pets. I have used up the pets that we've got so far from donations, so if you want more pets, 5 buckaroonies. And of course, all for a good cause, and there are lots of exciting bonus games and all sorts of stuff to tickle your fancy.
We do have $10 from Shade for the butteriest of all biscuits.
Yeah. That sounds about right, Trico. Butteriest of all biscuits. Thank you, Shade. I appreciate that. Just one pet? 2 pets?
2 pets.
2 pets. Well, Trico, you're covered in blood, so I've got good news for you. Trico, for a moment, in that lighting, you actually looked like you were rainbow colored. We met the donation incentive, or the bid war, I guess, yesterday for painting Trico rainbow. And I always throw that in as like a fun thing that we can do. But very few people realize just how much effort that takes. Because when I first heard that you could paint Trico, I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I can go into like a little editor, and he's gonna be like T-posing or something, and I can just paint him. No, that is not how that works. The game gives you an item that's essentially just the mirror. So you just hold it up and shine it. And anywhere that the light touches is painted the color of your choice. Which means that Trico's like walking around, trying to get you to pet him, scratching his head, and it's so hard to paint him. Some of the runners, like I had Blackberry Dragon in our community, have just created these wild patterns, and none of us know how they did it because how do you get Trico to sit still for that long? So Rainbow Trico is truly a... Rainbow Trico is like an hour of work. He's such a goober. So up here, new encounter. These guys have shields that are made of these eyeball glasses that Trico really doesn't like. A couple things about these. Obviously, they're going to make Trico stop fighting whenever he sees them. This fight's a little bit of an exception. You'll see he'll come over anyway. As long as I've knocked both of them down at least once. But we need to get rid of these because they will mess up Trico's AI. Okay. Thanks, Trico. Love you too, buddy. I'm alive. Trico. This might be a fate worse than death, buddy. What did you do to me? Well, you know, I guess he'll just be taking care of that fight. While I'm recovering. The sad thing is, I think that fight was actually really good. I think he's done. And I'm just like out here.
Rico's just like, where's the boy?
Well, it's better than dying. It was funny, the first time that I got the any percent world record, and then consequently, when the next runner got the world record that beat me, both of us died there. And I was like, oh man, you know, somebody's clearly gonna beat me because I lost so much time to dying at the end of that fight because Trico kicked me out of a window. And now I have to do this whole fight again. And then it was just, it was immaculate for the next runner to have the same thing happen. It was very comical. Trico just was not having it. Oh, buddy. So anyway, the shields, which is what I was talking about before Trico so kindly yeeted me. What's the word for that? Defenestration, right? To be yeeted out a window?
Sure.
But anyway, yeah, we'll say that's what it is. Those shields that look like eyeballs cause a lot of problems for Trico. Because obviously he doesn't want to fight, but there's some kind of... We don't really know if it's a glitch or like if it was intended. I don't really think it was intended. But whenever Trico sees one of those, he gets worse at fighting for the rest of the game. If he sees them long enough for him to stop and be scared of them, then he just becomes really passive. And he'll start slapping enemies and not killing them, or just knocking them down instead of exploding them. So we really need to make sure whenever we see those eyeballs that they are gone, like, ASAP. Or Trico is going to get really bad at fighting. Once again, we found a big jug of delicious Baja Blast. Trico won't leave it alone until I get rid of it somehow. This one doesn't have a lid, so we're going to have to do something different. Just little movement things we want to land on top of or kind of skimming that lever as we come down because it shortens the boy's animation for grabbing it by like, you know, a half a second. Actually, even less, but we're speedrunners. It matters. This game is so full of contradictions and it's very fun. Like, we're super into, like, you know, cutting that animation short even though it saves less than half a second. But at the same time, we don't get ledge skip or something and we're like, it's only like 30 seconds, whatever. It's fine. Because you kind of have to be that way. There's a certain breed of person that runs this game. And you have to kind of be chill about it, right? Because so much of this game is Trico's AI and him just doing whatever he feels like. And so if you're constantly like upset that things aren't going as fast as they could, you're gonna get really frustrated really fast. The fun of the speedrun, right? Like every single time it's different. Hey, Treeks. So I've fallen through the floor. I got rid of his Baja Blast, and he's very sad about it, as you can hear. But now I need his help because I'm stuck. Don't worry about the camera. It's just trying to follow Trico's face. The problem here is that the game needs to give Trico credit for stepping in the right spot, and sometimes the game is kind of a jerk about it. To be fair, Trico is very much not doing what he's supposed to do, but he's getting better. There we go. So now that there's a hole in the ceiling, I just need to get Trico's attention over here so that he puts his butt over it. Hey, buddy. Spin around. Looky, looky. Now, you may be familiar with the principle in a lot of games that if you're not looking at it, it doesn't exist. Games do that in order to save memory, right? Which is why I'm looking down at the water instead of up at Trico's tail. Because now Trico's tail is down here without having to go and try to finagle its way through all of this scaffolding. Because it didn't exist. We despawn it by not looking at it, and that helps Trico's tail to fall faster. We'll actually do that one more time later with some debris that we explode. We'll just avoid looking at it and then a lot of it goes away. Let's see if I can trick the game real quick. Hey Trix, can you make this jump, buddy? I trust you, okay? You got it? Okay, just kidding. Maybe I don't trust you. I'm sorry. It's not like I don't believe in your brain cells, but I kinda don't. Alright, I was right underneath the plane of that ledge when we came up, and for some reason, I discovered that while creating the task. For some reason, that makes those armors not wake up, which makes them easier for Trico to kill because they're just, like, standing there doing nothing. So the fight still happens, but it tends to go a little bit faster. And, like, the fight music isn't playing or anything. Come on, I want to be cool. Yeah. I stepped up onto the box instead of putting the barrel up and then getting up after it. It saves like a second and is called the Sancho Step. Same person who found Panda Plummet. I haven't forgotten about the pets. Sometimes we just get into sections where Trico's really preoccupied. Hey, Trix! You can do your happy dance. Normally, we would not let him do that during an any percent, because obviously it takes some time, but it's Trico, come on. It is wild to think, because we're at basically an hour 40 here. It is wild to think that the world record run is getting to cage puzzle at this point. For those of you who are familiar with this run, that is just... what? I mean, when I got the world record, that was like so much faster than the former world record, and then to just have that just absolutely blown out of the water. Walter's run is so fast. Walter's run, I guess I'm thinking about it, is legitimately 15 minutes faster than anybody else's. That's wild. And part of it came down to a really, really amazing Trico, which obviously saves a lot of uncontrollable time. But, like, Walter's just a really good runner and really grinded that out as well. He basically reset anytime anything went wrong for 3.5 hours until he got the God run, you know? Trico is so good at breaking things. Trico's like the premier demolition man. So there's White Tower over there to our right. You can kind of barely see it. We're back on track, getting toward the top there. We're going to be on that bridge later, and that's going to be an experience. Whee! It's very dangerous to let Trico do that, but I always do during marathons because it's really cute. A lot of times you'll land on the flat plane of his back, and the boy will, like, choose to try to stand there instead of grab, and so you just slip off and die. Trix, you gonna go? There you go. So coming up, you can kind of see it over here, this building that we're heading to. This is the Coliseum. And there's some interesting things that happen in here. This is one of the only glitches that this run contains. The rest are just kind of exploits. There are 4 armors inside this room. And they start, it's kind of weird, they spawn from the back to the front one by one, instead of spawning all at one time. So, if Trico will be kind to me here. Trico, kind of being a remember how somebody called you a buttery biscuit? You're kind of being a biscuit. Alright, that was enough. If we're very careful, and we pause and reset right on a specific couple frames, we can interrupt when these guys spawn. As you can see, there's only 1 armor back here instead of 4. We cut off the game in the middle of spawning them in, and so only this one in the back exists. Which obviously speeds up the fight, because then Trico doesn't have to fight 4 guys. One of them was supposed to have the shield, and so we don't have to deal with that. Nice try, Trico. Good job. Okay, okay, buddy. Hey, buddy, Trico. Trico, chill. You're good. You're good. Fight's over. Fight's over. Fight is done, my friend. The negative is that... Hi, buddy. Oh, sure. Sure, sure. Hey. Did you want a pet? Did you want a pet? Come here. You want a pet, buddy? Come here. I'll give you pets. Hold on. if that's how you're feeling right now. We've still got 2 outstanding pets. You come here. There you go. Yeah. I'll give you pets. Oh, something distracted him. But he lowered his head down for pets. So the negative of doing this this glitch thing, where we don't let it spawn all of the armors, is that we get the fight music. Because according to the game is like, you've only killed 1 armor, there's like 3 more. Get on it. And so it thinks the fight is still happening, right? So we're gonna get this fight music until we reset. Thankfully, that's not gonna be too long from now. But, I mean, if you don't reset, you can have this music basically until the end of the game if you want. So you might be able to see where this is going. There's a grate above me. I need Trico's help to get up there. Oh, thanks for the good luck. Appreciate it. Trico's actually doing pretty good. He's having a little bit of a hard time figuring out how he's gonna get behind this tool. And yes, obviously, as you can see, it doesn't matter how many times you play this game, you get these hints about like what buttons to hit every time. Ouch. Oh, hey, thanks, Trico. Thanks for the catch. That's a trophy, actually. Well, here, let me pull this spear out while we're up here. Because we still have a pet remaining, so we'll pull this out. We'll give you a good little pet to get rid of this blood spot. Thank you for those donos, Shade. There you go, buddy. Yeah. Let's try that again, shall we? Trico moved this thing, which is what made me fail. He bumped into it when he came over to help. But yeah, there is a trophy for springing up like that and landing on his back. It's called Broadback. There we go. Okay, so we'll get Trico up here with us. I want to briefly look down to make sure that he's not pooping. Just in case. Oh, there he goes. Okay. Because that would have been a world record if he had happened to poop there. And we're almost done with this fight music. Chico's just got to come up. Then we'll do a reset. Oopsie. I'm good at menuing. And there we go. Hey, buddy. I know, it's tough. So yeah, we've used up Shade Strike's pets, but we've still got plenty of time. $5 per pet to a good cause. Can we actually, while Trico does these water puzzles, can we hear what this charity does again?
Sure. Midwest Speedfest Fall Frenzy is raising money for One Iowa, a charity organization that advances, empowers, and improves the lives of LGBTQ Iowans statewide. It is extremely important, now and always, to support LGBTQ individuals, especially in underrepresented and overlooked areas such as Iowa. You can donate directly to One Iowa by typing !donate in chat or by going to donate.midwestspeedfest.com. Additionally, One Iowa is a 501c3 organization, meaning your donation is tax deductible if you live in the United States, and furthermore, means your employer may match your donation.
Thank you kindly. Appreciate that. So water puzzles are usually pretty consistent here for Last Guardian runs. They really only start to get inconsistent if you're running all barrels, which thankfully we're not today, because that category is much more difficult, I would argue. You have to do everything like you would in an any percent, except with the addition of feeding Trico all of his snacks. There are 48. And I think that we give, what, 7 or 9 of them in an any percent, so there's like a lot more. And all of the AI that comes with getting him to, like, eat them quickly and all that. Hey, Treeks. We're not going that way, okay? So I super don't blame casual players for getting really stuck here. When we opened that door with the lever, unbeknownst to most people, it opened a door down here too, that Trico can swim through. I don't know how you would know that because you can't swim down that far before you run out of breath, so guess you're supposed to take the bubbles that it makes as a hint, but that's what we're doing. We're opening up gates for Trico to swim through so that we can get out of this section. This may cost me a little bit of time if the boy doesn't... It's going to be right on the cusp of whether he makes it or not. Yay, he did. He made it into here. Before he ran out of breath. Because I didn't want Trico to see me, just in case he was pooping. Because these are all kind of common areas for him to poop. And if he did, we would have gotten the poop percent world record. But he jumped off of that pillar, or that, like, cliff, and the force of the wave he created was what pushed us up onto that ledge, even though it didn't have a ladder. No poop, somebody. That's okay. I forgive. It's super rare to get him to poop, especially in an any percent. So off we go. This tunnel is really long. We are not but a small boy with teeny tiny lungs. Rico obviously got big lungs. He's not even worried about it. Bye!
熱海せたらな、おとつりこうの、いらかぜ、あらさい、いにやぜ、あウィ。
So for this section of the game, I am completely alone. Trico has left me. I don't know where he went. He doesn't know where I went. We gotta get back to finding our Trico. Take note of this armor over there. He doesn't have a head. we're gonna come back to him later. And this is actually our first introduction to armors that we need to get past that don't have heads. So the armors, if you haven't noticed, whenever Trico's like exploding them, they're not people, right? They're just like animated suits of armor with like mist inside of them. So it seems like they can't move if that mist is getting out, but if you put a helmet on them and contain the mist inside, then they wake up and come after you. So usually it doesn't make sense to wake them up because they're the enemies, but every now and then they're standing in front of something that you need. I'm pretty sure this game takes place in Ohio. Canonically, this is the Ohio of the past or future. Alright, up we go. We're looking for signs of our friend. Gotta find Trico, because we are completely helpless without him. Bold of this boy to assume that all these vines are not just gonna rip off of these cliff faces and, oopsie, down he goes. He hasn't necessarily been the sharpest tool in the shed from the beginning. I thought it looked a bit corny. Hey, some Trico feathers! We're on the trail. Trico tail hanging down. A foot. So yeah, that's not our Trico, sadly. This is the very angry one, the one that keeps punching us in the face. I waited just a minute. I delayed on that log to get her locked into that animation of slamming into the tree. Because she can do that, or she can just come after you immediately and start slapping at your face, because that's like her favorite thing to do. And by getting her locked into that animation, we can just run past her without her bothering us and skip the first part of this puzzle, which would have been climbing like across all these platforms and stuff. And now I want to make sure again that she's committed to the animation of swiping at me before I go into this cave. Otherwise, she's going to be too fast, and she is still really fast. Help! Okay. Whew. We barely had time, but we did have time. Otherwise, she sticks her head, obviously as you saw, into that little crevice and you can't get out, so... Cycling her in the right way, getting her committed to things, is important. I'm gonna skip that first window. She's probably gonna slam through it anyway, which is fine. She would have regardless. Well, now she seems very confused. Oh, cool. Hey, lady, I was trying to go fast here, and you just are kind of really messing with my steez, okay? Alright, fine, I'll go back. Jeez, she's really upset that I tried to skip that. I've never seen her do that before. So we can't make it across this one without her, which is why we needed to wait anyway. So we are at essentially 2 hours getting into this cage, which is where we want to be for your average, you know, good pace Last Guardian run. As far as we can tell, this game takes place over like 2 to 3 days. And this boy is just having a bad week. So I can't do anything. But you can see that this unusual sound starts. And her horns start to resonate with the sound. And that gets her distracted from us. And she leaves us alone. Okay. So we're free, kind of. In a manner of speaking. We're in this cage. You can see that it doesn't roll in a straight line. That's going to be a thing later. But for now, we're trapped. We don't have our Trico. And the narrator is just going to say, it feels like I waited for an eternity. So we do just kind of have to wait. We're on a timer right now. Nothing we do can speed it up. We're gonna chill. How are you doing? Having a good day, everybody? Any fun plans for this weekend? Besides watching Midwest Speedfest, of course. We are gonna go to... I've already forgotten the name. But there's a barbecue place that I think is not actually special at all. I'm pretty sure it's just a chain place. But we've never been there. Let me ask what that is. And that is about the extent of our weekend plans. That and playing Baldur's Gate. We've been playing Baldur's Gate since we came back from vacation, end of September.
Heck yeah.
Famous Dave's! That's what it is. Pretty sure that's just a chain, but we've never had it before. You know, on vacation, I went to a Jack in the Box for the first time. And that was exciting and kind of underwhelming, but it was still fun. Jack in the Box and In-N-Out, now that I think about it. Never been to either of those. And we got like the super secret French fries, you know, the ones that everybody knows about.
Animal style?
Yeah, those ones. We somehow entered into like some pocket of like Arizona or something where everything just had whatever that topping is, that animal style thing with like the onions and stuff. That was just like the default sauce of anything that we ate. And it was only within like a 30-mile radius. It was very unusual. Very interesting. Hi, Trico! We found our friend, or rather he found us. Hey, Treeks. Okay, we wait for the Morph Borf. And then we reset the checkpoint because he wants to, you know, he's so excited to see us. He wants to be pet. He wants to, like, say hi. He wants to sniff around because that other Trico was here. And all of that takes a lot of time, sadly. Ooh, that's a nice position for that cage. That's really ideal, actually. So this is Cage Puzzle. This makes or breaks a lot of any percents. I know, honey. You want pets? I know I missed you. Okay. You ready? So the cage doesn't roll in a straight line, which means I need him to push me. I need him to not just like send me careening sideways. And then I need him to just leave me alone. Because he wants to help, and that often means that he like taps the cage with his feet. And oh, that just messes everything up. Come on, bud. You got this. You got this. Push, push. Forward, not sideways. Alright, he kind of ran me into a corner, but we can fix this. We can fix this. Alright. Really can't complain about that. It was a little bit messy, a little bit suspicious, but we got it done. So yeah, if you get Trico like pushing you into a corner or he spins you in kind of an unlucky way, if he doesn't actually push you over the ledge and he just pushes you like sideways, all of that you can end up spending 10-15 minutes on this puzzle. The boy should be, you know, some form of paste by now, but he's hanging in there. He's the true hero of this story. Alright, we need to get this down onto the other platform. Not really... Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna keep this. We need to get that down onto the other, like, pad for the elevators, because that's how the door will open for this cage that we're in. However, obviously, getting thrown down there is always random where you end up. And sometimes, as is the case with the one that I just had, there was basically no solution. That, on the other hand, was nice. Getting worse, though. Stop. Yeah, okay, this one is actually kind of a little bit gross, but it's workable. Oh, are we gonna do the thing where we just roll around the outside? That's just what we're gonna do, huh? Okay. Okay. Well, we did it. The end of Cage Puzzle being a little bit of a troll there. But yeah, especially getting thrown like off to my right here, to the right of this cage. Sometimes you get put in a place where there just is no solution. There's no way to roll out. And so you just have to reset. Obviously, in the TAS, I've got footage grinded out over many, many hours of the cage just landing directly in the thing where it's supposed to. Alright, so we put the head on this guy because we need him to move because he's got this barrel. Trico is currently sitting up above, complaining about how hungry he is. Here's a barrel skip. Just step up where we're not supposed to. And he's not going to move until we feed him. So we went down here and got this barrel, like, preemptively, before the game even told us that. Hey, Treeks, I got you, buddy. I got you, friend. Okay. And off we go. We'll give Trico I know it doesn't look it, but we'll give Trico a fairly complex command that should get him to do multiple things at once. And it does look like he's understanding, which is great. Otherwise, we have to command him to go across here, turn around, make a jump, all separately. Sometimes he jumps up like into this opening up here. Alright, so Trico's heading up. We're out of the cage. And you'll see that once we come out of here, we're actually going to be really close to that white tower that we've been trying to get to this entire time. And remember, we're stuck in this valley, even though, like, I, the boy, am, like, completely useless on my own. Trico is kind of also stuck. And so both of us have a vested interest in figuring out how to get out of here. Because they've been mean to Trico. You know, they've been... He got that armor off. And he was chained to the floor. They've just been really mean to him. So he wants to get out too. And we're both kind of thinking that maybe going to this tower is how we're going to do that. Because it's really tall. So we're hoping we can, like, jump out. Or see a way to get out once we get up there. You got this, buddy. Now that other Trico lives up here, and our Trico is super interested in seeing what she's about, so sometimes it can be hard to get him to focus and not sniff. Good job, buddy. Now just don't glitch me into the wall and we'll be okay. It's possible for Trico to jam you up into a seam of this mountain, and then the boy just becomes one with the stones forever. You just get stuck inside the wall texture. Okay, up he goes. I'm gonna leave you behind temporarily, my friend. I like you a lot. So, over here is that big white tower. We're finally almost level with the bridge, which is very close to the top of that tower. And that bridge is going to be our next destination, because obviously if we can get to the bridge, we can just walk over to the tower. But before we do that, we've got some events, I suppose, that occur. And that's going to result in about like a 4-ish minute scripted event playing. Obviously, like I said before, that's going to happen within the calculations of the game. So sometimes Trico can do it really fast, sometimes he can do it really slow. It was really fun, actually. We ran like a side-by-side of my world record and Walter's world record. And I actually overtook Walter during that scripted event when neither of us were playing, because my Trico just happened to be like a fraction of a second faster. But that's gonna play. It's gonna take a couple minutes, and I am going to stand up and stretch my legs because I've been sitting for like 2.5 hours. So it's a good chance to get some drink, hydrate, get a snack if you need it. Trico, what are you doing? Trico, dude. My bro, could you chill?
Can I
But yeah,
read off anything?
While I'm gone, it would be great to hear about, I guess anything that needs hearing about. Incentives, upcoming games. We kind of recently talked about the charity. Anything, really. Or we can just
Absolutely.
enjoy some contemplative silence while Trico has a little moment of panic. It's honestly one of the best little cutscenes, or scripted things in the game. It's a lot of people's favorite. But we'll be there in probably like 3 minutes, if that. and I'll let you know when I step away. Yeah, Mort, this is your cue to move. You're moving, Mort. I'll see if he wants a blueberry while I'm up, but probably he won't. No shame in asking, though. Hey, Trix, come on through. Mort's got a case of the wintertime sleepies. So we've seen these before, right? We have been in one of these, like, blue pulsing cages. And the last time we were, things did not necessarily go very well for us. This time there's armors as well, which is bad news for the boy because now I can't get out and I'm trapped here with these guys. Which is basically the only reason that Trico comes down to help me. Because he remembers what happens last time and it kind of sucked for him. Once again, I'm going to stand very specifically in a certain spot. Yoink! And there we go. We get launched once again. Sadly, we're not watching this cutscene. The cutscenes in this game are very cool and very well done. And there where a lot of the story happens, so if you're interested in this game, but you're worried that you've seen it all, there are about 20 minutes of cutscenes that we're skipping, so. Alright, here's our scripted event. Trico has eaten us, and now he realizes, oh heck, my person isn't getting up. And he's gonna try to figure out how to help us. So I'm gonna step away, stretch my legs. Y'all get some drinks, get some snacks if you need them, and I will be back in a minute.
You're watching Midwest Speedfest Fall Frenzy, a 4-day charity speedrun marathon supporting One Iowa. To donate, go to donate.midwestspeedfest.com or type !donate in chat and follow the link. And don't forget to put your donation toward one of our incentives. You can affect the marathon through your donations via our incentives. To add your donation to an incentive, scroll to the bottom of the donation page and click Add Incentives. Then pick an incentive on the left, mark your choice if it's a bid war, and select Add. For a list of incentives, type !incentives in chat. And walk you through the open incentives right now. We have Pet Trico, which is $5 per pet. That lasts until the end of the last Guardian. We have a ending bid war for the upcoming speedrun of Illbleed, where you get to decide what the ending shall be. You can pick between the bad ending or the good ending. And we have our first bonus game incentive. If met, Conception will perform an any % tourist run of Garbage Pail Kids, Mad Mike, and the Quest for the Stale Gum. That incentive is $500. So, let's meet it, because Conception runs are amazing. Midwest Speedfest Fall Frenzy is supporting One Iowa. One Iowa seeks to improve the lives of LGBTQ Iowans by protecting and advancing equality and inclusiveness through education, improving workplace culture, and increasing access to quality healthcare across the state of Iowa. Their work includes educating Iowans about the LGBTQ community training healthcare providers, law enforcement, business leaders, and others to ensure LGBTQ Iowans are respected in every facet and stage of their lives, promoting policies within the state and local government that protect the civil rights, health, and safety of LGBTQ Iowans, empowering tomorrow's LGBTQ leaders through training and mentorship, and connecting LGBTQ Iowans with vital resources. $50 donated to One Iowa will help connect older LGBTQ adults and fight social isolation. $100 could provide a transgender Iowan with one-on-one support, referrals, and follow-up services. With $250, One Iowa can provide a scholarship to empower a future LGBTQ Leadership Institute participant, which is a program designed to prepare Iowa's next generation of LGBTQ leaders. Donate directly to One Iowa by typing !donate in chat, or by going to donate.midwestspeedfest.com. To learn more about One Iowa, visit oneiowa.org.
Beautiful, thank you. I am back, by the way. I grabbed a cookie. And I might eat more cookies. I don't know.
Hi, back. I'm Dad.
Nice to meet you, Dad. So Trico finally figured it out. He drowned us. He's like, I'm gonna put you face down in water and that'll work. And to be fair, to his credit, it did. Also, I gave Mort an egg and a piece of banana, because those are two of his favorite foods. We'll see if he's interested in those at all. Probably not, but that's okay. Because it's hibernation season for lizards.
He seems awake, at least.
Yeah. He's very upset that I dared to open his door. So we've had this little snafu with Trico eating us once again. But we're back on track. And now I am going to stand here and attempt mind skip until Trico shows up. We didn't know that this was possible. And in fact, I even tested it for the task and deemed that it wasn't possible. And then somebody just did it. So I'm trying to get a super jump off of this little rock on the floor to vault me up here so that I don't have to wait for Trico. It's quite difficult to get it to work, obviously, since nobody thought it was possible. But since we have to wait for Trico anyway, there really is no harm in trying. Hey, Treeks. Yeah, I know. You're almost here. Yeah, alright. We'll just wait for Trico. That's fine. It's always nice to have tricks that you can, like, try while you're waiting for the backup anyway. Because you don't lose any time trying to do them. Hey, buddy. Yeah, Mort doesn't have many spoons these days. But that's okay. Sometimes it just do be that way, huh? Oh yeah, he's back asleep. So this corridor, the corridors we're going down are getting like progressively narrower. And Trico's just kind of got to deal with it. Like, we got to get out of here. So come on, buddy. This is the only way. He's coming. And right on the other side of this mine shaft is White Tower. So we're almost there. It gets even narrower here. So poor Trico got his head stuck. He was too big. Alas. But don't worry too much about Trico. He's still breathing. If I were to turn around once we come out of here, you would see that the rocks are moving as they lay on top of him, so... There, they moved a little bit. So Trico's okay, he's just feeling a little bit battered up. And right out here, finally, the point of the whole game. It's White Tower. But, of course, there's a blue door here. So things are not as simple as they seem. Trico's injured. The boy has no way to deal with these armors by himself. Tale as old as time. So Trico has burst out. He's ready to help me. I am going to try to keep this guy... Whoa. Good throw, Trico. I'm going to try to keep this guy occupied. Not because I myself can knock him off the ledge, but because by stopping him from making forward progress, it's a lot easier for Trico to just knock him down. Yeah. So Trico just gets him off the ledge because I positioned him. I set him up. Trico's really bad at this fight, and nobody knows why. You can do it, buddy. Good job. That's everybody. Come on, Trix. We got a White Tower to go to, finally. Now, across the way, you'll see the big bridge that leads to White Tower. Trico's gonna scream a little bit. And you'll see kind of up by the left side of his head, there are those two eyeballs over there. And they're by a broken part of the bridge on top. So Trico's obviously not going to jump through there because there's those eyeballs, right? So we're going to need to find a different way. That's going to involve me going underneath. And I'm supposed to walk all the way around the White Tower so that I can get back to the top and then push those eyeballs off. That takes like 5 minutes. We're not going to do that. We're going to do White Tower skip, which is arguably the hardest trick in the run, but very satisfying. Trico, per usual, great at breaking things. Alright, so I'm gonna run during this cutscene. That was actually a very, very good start. Quite rare to make it that far. That was so good. So I'm gonna hop down, and instead of following all of these like platforms around the outside of the White Tower, I'm gonna hop into one of the V shapes in the scaffolding. I'm not supposed to be standing there, and you'll be able to tell because I'll be kind of floating on air. So let's see. Nice, great way to start, first try. But we're not done, so we run up. Ah, yeah, we missed. That's okay. There's multiple parts, which is what makes this, you know, so difficult. But here we are again. All right. First try. part 2. Gotta run up here and just barely skim that outside. We're not supposed to be here, which is why it's having such a hard time, like, grabbing, you know? And that's the more common, like, outcome, that the boy just has the momentum and he runs through. But I swear, if you're learning this run, stand here and do this for, like, minutes. Whoopsie. Okay, don't do that. But stand here and just try this trick for minutes, because it will still save you time compared to what we have to do otherwise. But I think you can see what's happening, right? We get into this V. We head on up. There we go. And then we grab. Take a couple steps, grab again, and we're at the top. Which has skipped us having to walk all the way around the White Tower and essentially do like a 5-minute platforming puzzle. Because we cheese ourselves onto 3 separate surfaces we're not supposed to be on in quick succession, and then we're up where we need to be. So yeah, White Tower within probably 5 to 7 tries is average and good. Still worth it after that, by all means. And obviously first try is like awesome, but but we're here. We didn't succeed in getting this other eyeball. So we're kind of in trouble because we need help from Trico. But we got this eyeball on the right. We got all these eyeball shields that he really doesn't like. Alright, so, you know, Trico breaking everything as always. But he was brave, and he overcame his fear of the eyeballs so that he could rush over and save us. And that's all great and wonderful, except that he broke the bridge. So now we need to find a different way to get to the White Tower. But as you can see, it's gone. Hey, buddy. So we're supposed to, like, jump on these gargoyles, which are Trico-shaped, by the way. And then eventually one will collapse and let us fall down onto Trico's tail. Or, you know, we can just do what I did. Plan that out very carefully and land right on his head, which saves a lot of climbing time. Alright, he's not gonna keep falling forever. We made it. Hello. You ready? Now I will say, now that we are past this first White Tower section, we are gonna start running out of time to pet Trico. So, if you are interested in any of the other multiple animations that we have not seen yet from petting Trico, $5 per pet, and we can keep doing that until closer to the end of the run.
Trico deserves all the pets, folks.
And we can still clean off his bloody spots with those pets, and he's about to get a lot of bloody spots. Spoilers. Hi, honey. Yeah, I know. I miss you too. But we don't, like, he asks for pets when we're in that window, but we very specifically don't give him pets there. Because, and I'm gonna just try something once. If I die, you can laugh at me. It's okay. We don't give him pets there because he'll push you out the window. Hey, we did it! That little trick, jumping across there and grabbing that, is technically, like, too far for you to be able to grab. You're not supposed to be able to grab. It's called the thing. Because, you know, as always, I named it. So we just didn't have to wait for Trico to get across this gap. We just went. And that encourages him to go faster. Trico, you're really earning that badge, buddy. You're doing a good job. Most people don't know that you can make him fly across that gap. It takes some careful, command work. But flying is much faster than getting him to, like, jump, 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 jump across all those little pillars. And we're coming into my favorite section of the game. Both the first time that I played it and in every speedrun. It's a lot of fun, there's a lot of stuff happening. I don't think it's fun for Trico, but... If you're trying to play, for those who are curious, this game is capped at 30 FPS, but if you have PS5 and the disc version, well, the disc version that does not include version 1.03, then you can play it unpatched 60 FPS, and it's beautiful. But this is the part where if you're playing at 60, you won't be able to proceed anymore because the game hard locks. Trico just zips into a wall and you never see him again. You can just patch to 1.03 and then patch back once you're past this if you want to keep playing at 60, but... I'm gonna preemptively get rid of that eyeball while Trico is still doing this fight. And then here we go. Trico, he's trying so hard, he's just really not good at this. So there's multiple things that happen in very quick succession. I'm not going to have time to explain them all in the sense of a speed run. First, we're going to knock her down. I'm going to jiggle the camera because that gives us control of the boy faster. This is not exactly where I want to be, but it's workable. Next, I need to slam her tail in the door. You're supposed to wait after that, but as long as I do this quickly, I can get through the door. And camera, please. I know exactly where their legs always end up, so I can get through here and onto this before the cutscene starts. We were supposed to fall with Trico there, but because I ran through their legs successfully, we're up here. Had we fallen with Trico, we would have needed to climb on the other armored Trico, and she would have been like shaking, and it's a nightmare. And then you climb up a chain to get to where we are now. But we just fell directly to where we needed to be by kind of skipping that, by successfully running through their legs without getting caught. Next, I need to land on Trico. That's not a good spot. I'm gonna die. There I go. It's alright. We're just back up at the minecart. It's fine. The reason that didn't work, we need to land further on Trico's back. Because, and I haven't actually talked about this yet, there is no grab button. So the boy just grabs or doesn't on his own. That's better. And so when this scene starts that shows her getting hit in the head, all of the grabbable surface on Trico, like, turns off. And so if you're standing on a place where the only reason that the boy was safe was because he was grabbing, he'll just slip off and die, which is what happened to me. I landed a little bit too close to his leg, which is sloped downward. Now we're safe, though. Alright, so because we had to reset there, we've got a lot of spears to take care of. And I'm gonna intentionally leave those for later. Here's this thing that we haven't seen since the first 30 minutes of the game. Hey, buddy. You waking up a little bit? So this is reminding us that this is the shield that shoots lightning from Trico's butt. Finally, we have our lightning powers back. And I'm going to immediately use it for a couple things. We need to give Trico a ton of barrels. I know there are some barrels trapped in this train car, so I'm going to knock it down. The boy has just said, hold on, Trico, I'll pull it out. We fully expected that. I'll explain that in a minute. Destroying these armor things. There are armors standing on these platforms. We're not supposed to deal with them yet, but if they're gone now, then later, when Trico actually heads up there, he won't even know that they existed, which means that he won't get angry, we won't have to calm him down. It's a lot faster to just get rid of them without Trico's conscious awareness. And I was talking about this earlier. Remember, if we don't look at things, they don't exist. So that the game can save memory. So this is a lot of debris. But if I just intentionally don't look at it for a second, it's gone, mostly. Some of it will always be here, but you can see that it's a lot less than it just was. As for hold on, Trico, I'll pull it out. Trico has a ton of spears in him right now. And this is the part of the game where the game checks how many spears Trico has. I'm gonna pull one of these. We failed the spear check because if you have to reset during that fight, you basically always do. Because it just spawns like a predetermined number of spears, regardless of how many Trico actually had. And so we had too many, which means the game isn't going to let us proceed without taking some out. This is fine, in our case, because we can see them. But every now and then that causes a problem where Trico has a bunch of spears in him, but he's laying on all of them. And so you can't reach them to take them out, which means that you have to reset again, and basically just keep resetting and shuffling where the spears are until you get enough that you can pull out. So I pulled out one to see if that'll let us pass the check. If it doesn't, there's still one more on his butt that I can pull out. We gotta let him put his head down in between each one of these. We have not yet figured out a way to make this go faster. But he could take a break. He's been working hard. Almost there, Treeks. So the camera will kind of snap and lock if we pass the check. It will not if we didn't, so that will let me know whether I need to pull that spear or not. I'm gonna head over, just in case, because it doesn't hurt. Yeah, no, we need the spear. Boop. And there's the camera. So we're good to go. And now the scene that plays here is actually different depending on what you do during this fight. We chose to like zap the train cart to make it fall, but you can also climb on it as the boy. And if you do that, the boy's weight is what knocks it over and it kind of like falls on him and bonks him on the head. And so he like passes out for the rest of the day. And it doesn't show this same nighttime scene of you sleeping with Trico because you passed out all night. So it changes it. It still shows like the darkness scene, but you're not sleeping with Trico because you got knocked out. So now we're in pink sky. This is the last time that the sky is going to change. It's the last time that we're going to sleep. So we are in the end game. If you want pets for Trico, make sure you get him in. We are running out of time. Because sure, we're at 246 and technically the estimate is 325, but a lot of that final little while is cutscenes with like 5 seconds of gameplay interspersed. And they're very exciting cutscenes. They're some of the best. But that will prevent us from petting Trico since we don't really have control for most of the time. Oh, look at his horns! They're fully grown. And we destroyed these platforms with the armor, like I was talking about before, so he has no idea that those even existed. Which means he's not gonna get angry. We don't have to calm him down, he's gonna do his thing. Yeah, it's super cozy. There's also a place kind of around there. Like, we're in one specific tower, and throughout this tower, throughout the game, are places where you can be, like, at nighttime, and you can see, like, fireflies and kind of hidden areas that are just really pretty, and that's their only purpose. So up we go. We're heading up above where we were fighting the other Trico. When we hit her in the head with the minecart, we sheared off her helmet and broke one of her horns. Which is kind of important depending on how far into the game you play. Alright, we'll leave Trico behind there. And for some reason, in this spot specifically, he won't shoot his butt lasers if he's not facing you. Which is counterintuitive, right? Because if he's shooting the lasers from his butt, you'd think you'd want his butt to be facing you, but... that was a lot of butt, wasn't it?
No buts about it.
And you might have noticed, if you were paying careful attention, that Trico didn't actually shoot a lightning bolt this time. He shot 3 little plasma balls. That's because his tail is finally fully healed, and that's what he was supposed to be doing this entire time. It was just that he was formerly shooting lightning out of an injured tail. We've seen these cages before, right? We know what's gonna happen. And so does Trico, and that's why he doesn't want to come down. The difference is that this time, finally, we have this mirror. Which means that I had the power of God and anime on my side. I had the mirror and a stronger Trico. Finally, we overcame our great challenge, and he didn't just eat me. I'm so proud. So I need to make this shot essentially without seeing. The camera is actually being really generous. You never get to see this far up. It's really nice. Trico, however, is being a little bit of a goob. He's being a little bit of a biscuit. Treeks. Shoot. Shoot. Yeah, okay. Stop. Honey, stop walking. Oh, you're gonna be a troll, are ya? Alright, I understand. This is one of the hardest sections of the speedrun, like, not even being ironic. Because there's so little space for Trico. And any time that the beam from this mirror is interrupted, you have to restart charging it. It's really easy for the boy to die because Trico kicks him off this ledge. Easy for your aim to be interrupted. Trico, could you just stop moving, honey? But we've already... Oh, so this is gonna be the blind shot, huh? We made it, though. We've already gotten all of the ones that are super important. And it looks like Trico's gonna be really cooperative here, too. Come on, buddy. We're almost there. Nice shooting, dude. It was a little bit dicey at the beginning, but getting all of those mirrors is like the best case scenario. It's pretty common to leave 2 to 3 of them unbroken because Trico just simply won't let you. Honey, this isn't what I asked you to do. Okay? Can you stop? Thank you. I'm gonna try again. Oh. Oh, this is the kind of Trico we have, huh? Oh boy. Well, we're gonna be here for a minute, so... Hey buddy, what you doing? What you doing? So this is quintessential Last Guardian, right? You're working with an AI who sometimes does things in a less than optimal way. The best thing to do is just have practice with what you can expect from Trico. Because obviously, that was like wildly, wildly wrong, right? I did not want Trico to go in there. But I know enough about his AI and about how he usually handles this section that I knew he was going to fix it. And that there was nothing that I could do to make him fix it faster. He was confused. He was in the wrong spot. If I would have tried to give him another command or make him stop doing that command, he would have just gotten even more confused. And so we just let him go. And he fixed it. There's the White Tower, by the way. We're almost at the top. See if Trico actually lets me do this. Trico, my dude. Man, you are a champion. That was so good. Let me shoot from his back without interrupting me or anything. What a guy. So we're looking really good. We've already got all these, like, big eyeball things destroyed. The White Tower is over there, but remember the last time we were there, Trico destroyed the bridge. Which means we're gonna need some other way to get there. And that's the purpose of this section. This section is meant to test how well you can control Trico by this point in the game. Because there's a lot of these really tiny platforms where like you and Trico kind of need to cooperate and it's tight spacing, very confusing for him. And while we're here, we are going to be building our own bridge. So we're going to be going back and forth between these two towers, gradually building a bridge so that we can get to White Tower without using the bridge that Trico broke. And this is going to be some of our final little while in which to pet Trico. So don't forget to donate to a good cause, $5, and we'll pet Trico. We can do that as many times as you would like, up to a certain point in the game, so it is limited only by your generosity. And we'll pet off his blood stains, we can make him yawn, do lots of cute things. Plus, of course, there's lots of fun incentives coming up. I know we have Conception's bonus run that we're still trying to meet. Plus, like, some category upgrades and fun stuff like that, so lots of stuff to do. I think if you asked any Last Guardian runner what the most stressful part of the game is, it's this. Specifically this next jump I am about to make. Because if he doesn't grab there, because remember, I don't have a grab button. If he doesn't grab there, you just die. And the checkpoints in this part of the game going forward are really, really not friendly. So we would have gone back quite a ways. It's really stressful to be like on PB pace or on world record pace. And then you get to that gargoyle and you're like, it's my time. I know it. I'm going down. You got this, Trico. I know you understood. You're smart. Here we go. So back and forth we go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Trico, help! Oh, Trico. You fumbled at the 10-yard line, buddy. He has been really good this run about, like, following my directions and stuff. He has been particularly bad about accidentally getting me killed. So whether or not that counts for an overall good Trico is perhaps up to interpretation. And the reason, by the way, that we reset when we're gonna die, instead of just letting ourselves die, is because the death screen includes one of those, like, button mashing... I don't want to call it a mini game, but right, you have to button mash to get rid of some of the sigils, which takes up time. We're getting higher. There's the bridge. There's the White Tower. Well, the former bridge, right, Trico?
We do have a $5 donation for our pet.
Oh boy.
From Relix, Pats for the boy.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. The best place to pet him is going to be after we figure out these tight spaces on these two towers. Otherwise, he's not gonna have the space to lie down. So we're gonna hang on to that pet for another couple minutes. And we'll give him some real good scritches. So you can see there's a piece of the bridge that we're going to be building. It's currently down. We're going to lift it up. So earlier, I was shooting at this tower and I shot something on either side of it. Just like before, that was two like platforms that had armors on them. Because as always, if Trico doesn't know that they even existed, he won't get angry. And so now he's just like getting ready to do this jump instead of doing a whole little fight here. And yes, it very much looks like he's not doing the right thing, but he is. He just needs some space. Alright, off we go. We don't need to wait for Trico to get up. I know, Trico, you're so upset. I get it. So there's another armor above us, but with how tiny this platform is, I'm one of the runners who tends not to shoot at it. Look at his eyes, the lighting. So good. So instead, we're going to deal with it in just a second. Yes, the principle still applies that if he doesn't know it exists, he won't get angry, and that's technically faster. But in practice, what usually happens is he keeps getting in the way and stopping you from shooting it. And so it just wastes a ton more time. That thing looks cool. What's it called? The thing that I'm on is called a Trico. That's not his name. That's just like the kind of creature he is. Occasionally we see other Tricos. Oh, hun, did that hurt? He only turns his head like that when the spirit gets him like real good. Usually he just takes it, but every now and then it really hurts. Alright, rest in pieces. So yeah, we've got... Whoa! We've got our Trico here. He's not usually rainbow colored. He's usually kind of like a bluish gray. But he's rainbow colored right now because lots of people generously donated to that bid war to determine what color he was going to be. And if you want to paint your own Trico, all you have to do is beat the game. That's a lie. If you want to put a badge on Trico, you have to beat the game. If you want to paint your Trico, it's more involved. I got the two things confused. If you want to paint Trico, you need to do 2 full all barrels runs. In other words, you need to go through the game twice and give him all of the snacks each time. So that's 96 barrels. But as you go, you unlock a bunch of other stuff. So like every 20 barrels or something, you get outfits for the boy. I happen to not be wearing any outfits because I personally usually just run in the standard red outfit. But there's like an eco outfit because obviously this game was made by the same people. And there's just like, yeah, I think there's like 2 blue ones. One with like a headband. Just little cute stuff. So we've lifted up some of this bridge that we're trying to build. That's why we're here. And now we can see the other piece over here. Just gotta get over, lift it up. And then it's almost pet time for Trico. Whee! It's always fun to launch yourself like that. Oh, I launched myself so hard I broke my leg. That's alright, just walk it off. It's the motto of every person who lives under the American medical system. It's fine, just walk it off. Alright, in we go. The White Tower is within reach. Now, I'm gonna trust Trico, and given how many times he's killed me already, I'm not sure that's wise. I need you, buddy. I need you to be here for me. Nice job, dude. So I landed on him instead of having to go back around the entire tower. I also gave him a command during that cutscene that he didn't really seem to care about, sadly. Yeah, I know, that one was bothering you. That's why I took it out. Come on. Okay, so his AI is a little bit bugged right now. We've cleared it, and now he should be good. I really don't like using that command. Because it's mean, right? There's a command that's just called scold. And you like yell at Trico and you stomp on him and you say, no, don't do that. And that's so sad. But it also clears his like memory. So if you've given him a bunch of commands that he's not listening, sometimes you just have to like wipe that clean. Here we go. We have one pet outstanding, but this is going to be final call for pets. We are going to run out of time. So anybody else who also wants a pet, make sure you get it in. Because things are about to get real busy real quick. Trico and I really need to work together to get this fight done with. This is the second biggest fight in the game. And I need to understand what he's doing. He needs to understand what I'm doing. Every time this fight is different, so I need to adapt to him actively. I prefer to take these out going in the opposite order, but given that he was jumping toward me, he was going to interrupt the light from it, so I had to change my strategy a little bit. Thank you, I appreciate that. This game is my babe. Oh, Trico didn't take out any of those guys. Nice shot, dude. This is kind of a gross angle no matter how you slice it. I was trying to get Trico to shoot at some of those other guys, but he's just 6,000% in the way. And I didn't want to stop him from doing other things by having him charge up his tail for no reason, so I just kind of stopped. So we need to be down here in time for Trico to kill the last armor, because there's going to be one coming out of this door that has one of those eyeball shields. But if I stand here and startle him like that, he'll drop the shield. Even better, he'll drop it inside the door, so he can't go back and get it. Sadly, we got unlucky. This guy coming out with a shield is like a 1 in 20 chance. So Trico got distracted by this shield. My goal there... Okay, apparently I'm not allowed to just, like, pick this shield up anymore. But my goal was to just keep the light of the mirror away from Trico's body so that it didn't disturb the beam. And we could still get Trico shooting later. But he's just making it very difficult this time. That's alright. You're doing good, Trico. I know you're doing your best. Now and then, if armors stay down for long enough, I can pull their heads off. Which, technically, that means I can help with the fight, but... Hey, Trico, you good? Hey, buddy. I got good news for you. We got some pets to do, my man. It's time. You want to do one of your special animations? Here we go. Here we go. Fight's over. Nice place to sit. I don't want the mirror, please. Rub you right in the middle of the head, huh? Yeah. Yeah, he'll do a big yawn and lay down. But only if you rub him in between the eyes. If you rub him other places, he does other things. And sometimes, if he's being especially trolly, I'll rub him for like a donation incentive or something, and he'll just straight up go to sleep, which takes forever to wake him back up. So thank you for the donations, everybody. I appreciate it. I'm gonna say, basically, this door opening is gonna be the last call for pets, like for realsies. Get them in the next, 2 or 3 minutes. We'll call this incentive closed once I get the elevator moving upwards. Because we are gonna run out of time. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wait, Trico, I'm not ready. Okay. That was elevator skip. We're supposed to wait until Trico comes into the room and then, like, drag his tail through one of those holes to get down here. But as long as he's not blocking that hole, you can just jump down and trick the boy into grabbing. So what's happening, right? All of these armors are in front of these things, which are called plinths. There's your word of the day. And as you can see, I turned that one on and it activated one slice of this big circular door. So we need to turn all of those on in order to fully open that door and get it out of the way so that I can use the elevator, which Trico is currently sitting underneath. Some of these armors have heads, some don't. These two over here don't. So ideally what's going to happen, if physics smiles upon me, is these guys are going to bunch up, and when they explode, because Trico's tail is down here, 2 of their heads are going to go flying in opposite directions and wake up these other armors. And that's exactly what happened. That is wonderful. Where'd the other armor go? There he is. And just like that, every armor in this elevator is dead. Because that worked perfectly. Of course, I, as a runner, have very little control over that. Because, I can't control what physics is going to think happens to those helmets when they explode. It's also not the worst if it only lands on one armor. The worst case scenario is just that neither of them wake up. So it's still playable in multiple permutations, but one of my favorite checkpoint resets. This one is a big teleport. It just gets us completely out of the place we were and just puts us right where we need to be. So, we're taking the elevator up. That means we have to close the pet incentive. If anybody is, like, in the process of donating, do feel free to continue, but other than that, we gotta wrap it up. But I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for the many, many pets that we gave Trico. And for making him rainbow colored. Okay, okay, it's time. Biggest fight in the game. There's usually 3 phases. There's people on terraces, people with shields. There's a lot. Uh-oh. Trico, don't do it. Okay. I was on world record pace once, and Trico saved me from one of those guys. That's not a place we want to be, right in front of one of these doors. So yeah, I was 3 minutes ahead of world record pace. And Trico saved me from one of those guys, but in the process, he knocked me through one of the holes in the floor. And I lost the world record because of that. I mean, that's Trico for you. Alright, we always know exactly where that guy's coming out. And just like before, we stop him from popping out of that door with the shield. And he leaves the shield inside the door so that it's no longer a problem. Getting caught here is often something that we do intentionally, depending on how the fight's going, in order to refocus Trico. If he's just having a really hard time, you know, fighting something in particular. Alright, he's gonna take care of that guy. Another one is gonna come out of here with a shield. And there's also gonna be one across the room that comes out with a shield. But I need Trico to finish what he's doing. Trico. Trico! You got this, Trico! Yep, that sounded promising. Trico! What are you doing? Finish the guy on the floor! Me having to help him with that is going to put me just ever so slightly off cycle so that this guy gets to come out. Alright. Use that to knock that guy off balance and destroy it at the same time so that he doesn't hurt me. As you can see, many things are the circle button, which is why I am completely incapable of picking this guy's head up, even though I really want to. One more guy, Trico. Unfortunately, he's in like the worst possible position, but... kind of phased through the floor for a second. And then we'll have to take care of the guys on the terrace, which is what Trico is currently looking at. Oh, and he couldn't quite hit. That's okay. I'm sure you can see that, you know, this fight is a big hurdle to be something that's like right... Can you stop? Right at the end of the run, right? There's a lot of variability in how this could go. That can turn like a really good run into something that is out of your control. But it's also possible to go the other way, right? You can just have Trico absolutely obliterate everybody and you save like 3 minutes that you didn't realize you had. No. Get out of the middle, buddy. But also get out of my face. Move, 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 Trico, move. Move, buddy. Alright. You've done better, Trico, but you've also done worse. Sometimes, inexplicably, you'll just get a 4-phase fight there, and nobody knows why. Even more rarely, you can get just a 2-phase fight, which obviously is very nice. Here we go. You ready, Treeks? It is the time of reckoning. We get like 5 frames a second in here because of all the barrel debris. We'll be out of it in just a second. Wow, you just listened to 0%, huh? Okay. So we've been inside the base of the White Tower at the very, very beginning of the game when we got this mirror, which Trico then proceeded to keep in his stomach for most of the game. Because this tower is made of a very unique kind of material. And it's really cold, so everywhere we go you'll see that you can see the boy's breath. But we haven't been back to the tower since then. And when we picked up this mirror, we picked it up from a place that has a pool that looks essentially exactly like the one from Shadow of the Colossus. And the big sarcophagus that we picked it up from was made out of 16 pieces. Take that as you will. People aren't entirely sure about how this game fits in, but there are certainly references to both of the other games. And so we've gone all the way from the bottom of the White Tower, all the way to the top. And then things got weird. So this is the Master of the Valley. He's a goo ball. And I can use the power of the mirror, which he seems to really, really dislike. Probably why it was all the way at the bottom, as far away from him as possible. I can use it to push his aura back inside. If I push it inside all the way, it'll explode and come out really fast. But if I push it back only most of the way, it comes out again very slowly. Which is why I was able to have enough time to get up here. As for what the Master of the Valley is doing, that's kind of the entire point of every lore discussion about this game. He's underneath this... It's a big antenna, basically. Is what this thing is that we're climbing. Ooh, nice positioning. Right in front of this thing. So we stopped this big fan so that Trico can get through. And because of all of our generous pets, we are going to go a smidge over estimate. I hope that that's alright. It's not going to be anything wild like 10 minutes or something, but we're going to go a little bit over estimate.
Okay.
Yeah. Had to give Trico all of the good scratchies.
Absolutely worth it.
Whoa, hi. There he goes. The lighting, though. So we're at the top. That's everything that we've done across the entire game that we're looking down on. And I'm like, okay, Trico, I know that you can glide because you showed me you can. Let's go. Let's get out of here. So none of these cutscenes are skippable, which means we're gonna have some time here. Go ahead.
Alright. Marquise Dan is going to be taking over for me.
For sure.
Thank you very much, Sable, for running TLG. And
Thanks for hosting me.
Thank you. And good to see y'all, folks. And I will be back actually in a few hours for a few more runs to host. So I just need a little nap before then.
Enjoy your sleep.
Yeah, go get some rest. Yep, I'm Marky Dan. I'll be taking over for hosting. I love this game, by the way. It's so cool to see it in a marathon.
Well, thanks for taking over. Nice to have you for the next, like 3 minutes.
Yeah, catching the end, for sure.
So, about those barrels that we've been feeding Trico this entire time, take this how you will.
Wait, baby bird in it, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's set up like a baby bird in a nest, so they can just kind of, barf some people into it. It's fine. So the master, right, being underneath this antenna, seems to be putting out some kind of signal that has called all these other Tricos back. And I'm a person that they probably want to barf into the baby bird, so I'm in danger. And as always, Trico really just wants to protect me, but he's just not good at this. Alright, so I'm on the floor. My leg's broken because I just got slapped by one of these big creatures. It's faster to reset than it is to just walk off our broken leg. Mostly because we just keep getting slapped if we don't. So we gotta get over here and get the mirror, which flew off of our arm when we got hit. So we've got a little scene that plays. Despite its look, this is also scripted, which means very occasionally this guy that's flying around will break. And then it's funny to watch the game like correct him back into what he's supposed to be doing. But there's nothing we can do to speed this up. We're just gonna fly around for a little bit, which means now would be a great time to hear about what's coming up next after my run.
Oh yeah. Next we have a race of custom robo, featuring, I believe, the top 2 runners in the world racing against each other. So that's going to be very exciting to watch. I've been looking forward to that myself. Looking at the game, it's a little bit, seems like, what if Rock'em Sock'em robots butt guns? So it'll be a fun run to watch. But yeah, we're just going to keep raising money for One Iowa, which is a very important charity. Iowa and myself, so it's an important one to me. I'm really happy we were able to choose them this marathon.
I guess I never really thought about it until I learned what the charity was, but it's true kind of that Iowa doesn't really have like a big city, right? So
yeah.
it's one of those states that's like more commonly overlooked in terms of money raised for them and stuff, because there's not like the singular target of like where the money should go and everything.
Yeah, Iowa's got, I'm in Des Moines, so that's like 500,000 people.
Yeah.
So that's about as big as it gets here.
So it's nice to be raising money for something that often gets less support than it could use.
For sure. And the trans community here could definitely use some support right now. The climate, how it is. So I'm really happy to be raising money for them.
Oof. Okay, so we should get ready on time. We've got one little cutscene, and then we'll have the final stretch of gameplay here. I'm gonna yoink my mirror. And thank you everybody for having me go over time. That's really nice because it was entirely because of all the Trico pets that we had. So poor Trico, he got the tip of his tail ripped off, just like at the beginning of the game. He just can't catch a break. But good news is, his tail still works, even if it's not connected to him anymore. So I've got the mirror, we've got his tail. That's really the entire recipe for butt lightning. So let's show this master of the valley who's boss. Boy, that was supposed to be like the climactic moment, and then you just kind of noodled around and failed. Come on, dude. Alright, so timing is gonna stop once I succeed in hitting the master with lightning. It might not be on the first shot, we'll see, but timing will stop. Maybe. Now! Yeah, we actually hit him on the first try. Sometimes it just like breaks the cage and then it doesn't count. I'm gonna pause that because it's really loud. But we still got like 20 minutes of cutscenes that we don't have time for. So if you've never played this game, you still have plenty of cutscenes to watch to figure out what on earth is happening. And I promise that seeing Trico in a run does nothing to minimize how much you love him when you play yourself. So thanks for having me, everybody. It was obviously a lot of fun to be here. Thanks for having Mort as well, even though he didn't move. But yeah, get excited for the next run. And I appreciate y'all. Shout outs to tech and hosts and everybody behind the scenes who don't often get as much love as they deserve. But thanks for having me, and I will let you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much for running. That game is fantastic. It's always fun to watch. And it's a great chill way to start our morning for sure.